One of the things that I love about the playing of Bill Evans is how he uses rhythm in his solos. He's really a master at opening up the form, playing across the bar line, displacing phrases and using a lot of polyrhythms that suggest another meter than what the song is really in. And in this video I'm going to go over a part of his solo on the song I Love You, and I'm going to talk about how he uses these different things so you have some concepts that you can start working with in your own playing. My name is Larsen. If you want to learn jazz and make music, then subscribe to my channel and click the little bell notification icon so you don't miss anything. This first phrase is in the beginning of the solo, and usually in this place you would just expect a 2-5-1 to F major. But if you look at the things that he's playing on top of this 2-5, then that's a little bit weird, because first you get a D flat major 7 arpeggio, and then you get a C flat major 7 or B major 7 arpeggio, and then something that starts to sound a little bit more like something that could be C7. And really what's happening here is that he's changing the harmony. He's not playing G minor 7, C7. What he's doing is actually playing first a B flat minor 7, then A flat minor 7, and then in theory this will probably go down to like G minor 7, C7 to F major. And in this case he's kind of skipping the G minor and then going straight to the C7. This way of reharmonizing a 2-5 is kind of coming out of some places you'll have, let's see, so something like this kind of movement where you're moving down the bass line on a B flat minor and then going down to a 2-5. Here you then turn the bass line into a minor chord and you use sort of parallel minor chord. That's the sound that he's using here, and that's how you get away with using a B major 7 arpeggio on top of a G minor chord. But he's also messing around with this rhythmically, because it's not just kept in the meter. The first chord is on the 1, so, and then the second arpeggio is actually happening on the 4. So he's changing chord on beat 4, not on beat 1, and then the last part is changing on beat 3. And then on the F major 7 we get just an F major 7 arpeggio, and then a D minor 7 arpeggio. In the next part of the solo, Bill Evans is using a really simple melody, which is in fact just an F minor scale run, and then he's using that to displace where we feel the 1, because he is playing this really simple melody that has this very clear sense of where the heavy beat is, but he's putting that on the 3, not on the 1. So he's starting in the pickup already in the D minor bar, and we get on the, from G here, so, and then just a scale run in F minor. So we really have like, this is the conclusion of that phrase. It's on beat 3, but we kind of want to hear that as beat 1. And then the same thing, so the C7 is, it's almost like the C7 is moved from the 1 to the 3, and then repeating this, but now he's making a variation on it, so he's treating it as a motif and then developing it. He's going down to the G and then making a chromatic run. And then he's adding a few notes so that the final part of the phrase, the conclusion where he gets up to the F, where he's just playing F on F major 7, is on beat 4. This recording of Cole Porter's I Love You was the opening track of Bill Evans' debut album as a leader, which is called New Jazz Conceptions. Ironically, this album didn't do very well. I think the first year it sold around 800 copies, but I'm pretty sure it picked up sales later in his career, given the amount of impact that he has had on jazz in general. What really sets Bill Evans apart from the people that came before him and inspired him, like Bud Powell, is really how he's using rhythm as sort of a conscious device that you can use to create tension and release. And I think he does that, and I think he's also aware of this tension release idea, because in the first 8 bars that I talked about now, there's a lot of tension. He's using polyrhythms and phrases that are in 3-4, and he's displacing the 1 and making it really unclear where we are. That is a sort of tension, and he is actually resolving that in the next part of the song, because here the song modulates to A major, and the phrases that he's playing here are really clear, very A major, no extensions, and also very clearly in the groove and in the meter. So what he's working with here is really just an A major triad, and then some leading notes, and then maybe some sort of E7 and back to the A major triad. So we first get a leading note for the 5th, for the 3rd, then going to sort of E7 sound, back to A major, and then also just using leading notes here to get to the third at the end, resolving everything on the beat, everything is clear. In fact, this is probably Bill Evans' favorite country lick. Now that he's made a resolution point in the A major part, then he can start building tension again when the song continues, and in this case that's on G minor 7, C7 to F major, so just a 2-5-1 F. And really what he does here is that he's again displacing phrases, and he's keeping it really vague what is happening in the melody. So he's not really playing a melody that is clearly reflecting the changes. So the melody is essentially just a D minor 7 arpeggio, and then with this trill in front of it. So, but it's played so that it first is starting on the 2 and then starting on the 1. So it's moving on top of the meter, then he uses that as a sort of template or as a motif and develops it, and on the F he turns that into an F major 7 arpeggio, going on with some bebop phrases, moving on to the A half diminished, which is just really a C minor triad, and then D7. And then instead of G minor 7, C7 here, he's kind of playing sort of a G7 flat 9, so we get this type of sound. And then moving on to C7, but again messing around with where he's changing chords. So the C7 is actually coming already on the 4th beat, and that's a C7 flat 9. And then this phrase that is, it's almost as if it's resolving on beat 3. But of course in the context you can also just hear it as being a C7 phrase that stops on C7. The reason that I can keep on publishing videos every week is that there is a community of people over on Patreon that are supporting the channel. I'm very grateful for their support, and it's because of them that I can keep on making all these jazz guitar and music theory videos. If you want to help me keep making videos, then check out my Patreon page, and if you join us over on Patreon, I can also give you something in return for your support. This example has Bill Evans returning to using phrases that are 3 beats long, and also using the same reharmonization that he did in the first example that I analyzed. But here he's taking it a lot further, and he's going on for a longer time and using more chords to it. So in a way that's a nice example of how he really works with this, and also how he really uses it to just obscure entire parts of the form, because we're actually talking about using this on 8 bars, or the last 8 bars of the first chorus. Usually you would expect G minor 7 or G half diminished, actually C7 to F major in this part of the form. What Bill Evans is playing is B flat minor and then A flat minor. Then now he's not going to C7 as he did in the first time. He's going to G minor 7 and then skipping the C7 and going to F. And then to D7 and then back to G minor. And then we get a phrase to sort of resolve the whole thing and just take us back to the final 1 chord. Bill Evans is playing this quite clearly. I think it's also because we're expecting one thing, and then if you're putting down something else, then you can be really clear about it because it's gonna sound surprising anyway. So he's just playing these really basic arpeggios, descending arpeggios, and this may be a personal observation, but I have the impression that Bill Evans is really using a lot more descending arpeggios than most other players that I come across. Maybe it's just my imagination. Let me know in the comments. If you want to check out another musician that also has a really sophisticated approach to rhythm and also is very melodic, then check out this video where I'm analyzing a solo of Jim Hall, who also collaborated with Bill Evans. If this is the first time you see one of my videos and you want to learn more about jazz guitar, then subscribe to my channel. If you want to help me keep making videos, then check out my Patreon page. That's about it for this time. Thank you for watching, and until next time.